did you know that there are more ways to build a modern PC than there are stars in the observable universe? Which sounds kind of crazy, but it's true. Because even if we limit ourselves to the AM5 platform, here at PC Part Picker, that leaves us with 58 CPUs to pick from. Similarly, we have 502 compatible motherboards, 496 compatible coolers, 3,500 different RAM options, 6,600 storage options, 6,700 GPU options, 600 cases, and over 2,700 different power supplies to pick from. And so if we multiply all of those numbers together, we're left with a whopping 3.8 septillion unique different combinations of a modern PC. Again, just on the AM5 platform. And so today I'll be building a PC that I don't think anybody out in the world has ever built before. But if you have happened to build this exact same PC prior to seeing this video, I will send you a lifetime supply of thermal paste, as long as you can prove that your PC has every single one of these components that I'm about to build. And also you should comment down below your current PC specs to see if you can find anyone else who has the exact same PC combination as you. Because what are the odds, you know? Starting with our motherboard, I decided to go with the ASRock Phantom Gaming X870E Nova. And my logic for picking the parts in this PC was, honestly, I just picked parts that I had never bought before. I still kind of think of ASRock as like a budget option for motherboards, but they do make higher end components. Like, look at how beautiful this one looks. Oh my goodness. Although I wonder why this little 3.2 has like a marker scribbled over it. That's interesting. We'll go ahead and peel this away. Look at the size of that VRM. That's nuts. Oh, that's a big sticker peel on the back. Now this is a higher end motherboard, and we're going to be pairing it with a 9700X CPU. Now I know I just mentioned I'm gonna build this PC based on components that I've never built with before. And recently I've been building with so many of the X3D AM5 chips that I have not fully explored the non-X3D variants. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy installed. We'll just plop it down into the socket, bada bing, bada boom. Now for our RAM, I'm also going with the brand that I've never used before, Clev. I would also wager that a handful of you have not heard of this brand before. Clev is essentially the non-official public outlet for SK Hynix memory chips. And SK Hynix is one of the top memory manufacturers in the entire world. So on paper, these should be extremely high quality because they should have access to like the top most binned memory chips. And this RAM almost has like a matte finish. I've never seen that before. But okay, let's go ahead and install that into our motherboard. Even with these three components, I would wager that none of you have this exact same build. But if so, I'm also going to add a Clev SSD to the mix. Now I do think that Clev's RAM is a bit more popular than their SSDs, especially because in the RAM, they build everything from the ground up, but with their storage, they actually outsource the memory controller to like a separate company. But that said, there is still SK Hynix chips inside of here. Wait, how do you undo this M.2? It's kind of like a button, but I don't see a screw access. Hello? Oh, you slide inward. Oh, that's interesting. How fancy. Hey, look, it even looks like a planet. Now our SSD does not have a heatsink, but thankfully our motherboard does, so we will rely on that. And now we'll slide this bad boy into place, like that. Oh, perfect. Oh wow, we even have an easy release GPU latch too. This is a cool motherboard. Okay, so now for the cooler, I also decided to go with something that I have never bought before, which ended up being this Cryo Titan air cooler from King Cool, which does have a cool name, but also should make it even less likely that any of you have built this exact same computer in the past. I do feel like there are a handful of budget air coolers out there that do the job really well. And I believe that King Cool is trying to also play inside of that market. You know, the like $20 to $40 air coolers that come with multiple fans. It's honestly hard to beat the performance of just a chunk of metal on your CPU. It does the job. But now we need to figure out how to install this. We are AM5, so we need these brackets. AMD. With the cooler installed, I decided to go with a single fan for aesthetic purposes because I just kind of like the way it looks. But if our temperatures end up being an issue, I will go ahead and add a second fan right here. But now this means it's time for our case. And again, I chose a case that I have never built in before. So let's see if you have this one. This is a pretty cool case, I will say. Simply because it has a floating element to it. This is the Cougar CFV235. And I feel like I have been seeing a recent trend with like split level cases. And I just wanted to try one out. So let's give this one a shot. Now, hypothetically, the logic for these cases with multiple compartments is that you don't have heat share between them as much. So hypothetically, your power supply down here isn't interacting as much with your components up here. Although there are like vents all over here. I don't know. But now we can just go ahead and drop in our motherboard. I like the fact that I see plenty of room up here for cable management. I do always get a bit nervous in cases where there's not a lot of space there, and then you try to plug in your CPU power and it just, you just have to like bend your fingers in ways that they were not meant to bend. But all right, let's secure this motherboard down with a few screws. Now, Cougar is actually a brand that I have not used in a very long time, but I have used them before. If you go back on my channel long enough, you can see me build an ITX PC with a Cougar case. And back long before I was making videos, Cougar did actually make this ITX computer case that was surprisingly affordable, while also looking, at least in my opinion, really cool. But since then, I have not used a single Cougar product. I know they also make some like really eclectic PC cases, like the ones with tons of sharp edges and look like it's like a spaceship. So this case here, I feel like is a nice middle ground. Not super over the top, but still has kind of a unique aesthetic. I actually also think there's a light bar underneath here to emphasize the floating effect. But we'll see if that's true once we power this on. I think that's solid, which means now we need to install our GPU. And I know what you're thinking, up to this point, this has been a pretty solid gaming PC, right? Like we have a high-end motherboard that can support overclocking. We have a nice CPU. We also have 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. So surely we end up using a high-end GPU as well, right? Yeah, about that. Now, because I only wanted to use components in this build that I had never used before, today, we are going to be building with the RTX 5050, which I do believe is NVIDIA's lowest end RTX card, at least in the 5000 series generation. And while it might certainly bottleneck the rest of our computer, I am curious to see what its performance is like. This is also the Asus Prime version with 8 gigs of video memory. So let's go ahead and toss this into our build. This card does have plenty of output options, 1 HDMI and 3 display ports. It's also a pretty beefy cooler considering it's a 5050. At this point, if I still have matched your exact PC at home, I'm honestly, I would be flabbergasted, because really there's only one component left after this, and that's the power supply. This GPU sag bracket is actually in the way of our GPU. I can't push it down because it's caught on a little bracket over here. You were supposed to help me, not hinder me. See if I can push this little strap down. Could also open the back of the case, but oh well. Okay, that should be good. Now our GPU is going in. Snap it down just like that. All right, wow, the aesthetic of this PC is actually really cool. I'm into it. Now we just gotta tighten down some hatches. Like that, and like that, perfect. Okay, meaning the last step is to install our power supply, which for this build, I ended up going with this Lee Ego 750G. I've never used one of these edge power supplies before, so this seems like the perfect opportunity to do so. Now, even though there are like, what, 3.8 septillion different ways that you can build a PC, I have to imagine that most PCs congregate using the most popular parts. And even more so, I'm sure that build guides and tutorials heavily influence what components people build. Oh, this is kind of wavy. Is that wavy on purpose? It's not super obvious until you look down at this angle, but you see all of these like bumps and valleys. It looks to be like an intended design, but wow, I was not expecting that. Surely that's just aesthetic and doesn't help airflow, right? It's actually kind of strange that they would do that anyway though, because it's not like you can see this part of the power supply when you have your PC on. That's just gonna be done like this. I don't know, anyway. Also, this sort of edge design power supply, I guess, should be easier to plug stuff into. And let's be real, I need all the help with cable management that I can get. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Ooh. Oh man, I love toolless entry PC cases. Not having to unscrew the panels whenever you need to open them is awesome. Okay, there's even room for a hard drive back here, nice. Now, if we look inside this case where the power supply goes, there's actually no vent on the bottom of the case. And while traditionally you would install a power supply with your fan facing that vent, so it would be like this. Because there's no vent there, I think we actually flip it upside down, which in this case feels right side up. Oh yeah, I mean, check that out. Wait, how would this work in a normal case then? That's crazy. Because if we look on the top side, there is a vent right here for the power supply. So I think that's the intended way to install it. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we gotta plug in some cables. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, we got all of our cables. Perfect. So now we can just go ahead and slide this bad boy into here. I know it's not realistic, but will someone please come up with a wireless power supply? That would be fantastic. Specifically a wireless power supply that can handle like an entire PC that requires like, I don't know, 800 watts and also wouldn't get too hot or anything like that. All right, now let's cable manage. Oh wow, there's a huge controller up here for fans. We have access to at least 4 more fans plus a RGB. That should be helpful. Let's go ahead and unclip all this nice cable management so we can defile it with our own cable management. We'll start with motherboard power. That'll clip like that. Now our CPU up here actually does take 16 pins, and that's again because we have this higher end motherboard which does allow for more overclocking. Okay, CPU power installed as well. Now our GPU here does only take 8 pins, which is kind of nice. One of the benefits of a lower power card for sure. You just plug that PCI cable in just like that. And now we're just gonna plug in all the random stuff like our front panel connectors, our USB connectors, all that stuff. Okay, cable management complete. Time to see if our PC will actually turn on. It does look like there is in fact a light bar underneath here too, which glows down onto this bottom section. This is a pretty cool PC. But the real question is Can we get a signal? Because otherwise it's just a nice looking paperweight on our desk. Uh-oh, okay, it's been like 10 minutes and we are not getting any signal on any monitor that we're trying, despite the fact that we're getting like a motherboard code that indicates that it should be posting. So we do need to do a little bit of troubleshooting after all. I'm gonna first start by just unseating and then reseating the GPU. Thankfully, there's an easy release, which should make that a bit easier. While this is off, we'll also make sure to make sure our SSD is installed properly, which it does appear to be. We'll just go ahead and unplug it, inspect. It looks fine. Now we'll just go ahead and reseat that back in. All right, let's go ahead and give this another whirl. Oh, there we go. We finally got to BIOS. Let's go. I was trying to use DisplayPort, but I switched over to HDMI and it seemed to do the trick, which means now I need to know, have any of you out there built this exact PC before with all of the exact same components? As a reminder, we have a Phantom Gaming X870E Nova motherboard with a Ryzen 7 9700X, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM from Clev, specifically the Crass V RGB style, an Asus Prime RTX 5050 GPU, this Cougar CFE 235 case with the floating design, and finally the Lian Li Ego 750 power supply. I'm willing to wager that this PC build is quite literally 1 in 3.8 septillion. But like I said, if you have this exact same PC, let me know. I'll send you some thermal paste. I'm also super excited to go to the comments to see exactly what kind of builds you guys are rocking, and also to see if anyone has found their PC twin. Now, I'll be doing some testing with these components that I've never used before, so follow along for that. As always, I've been Mr. Yeester, your tech tinkerer, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh yeah.